As time went on after leaving Cecilia, as months and even years actually went on, because it lasted honestly for years, I could not even trust my own shadow. I was paranoid. And paranoid is an understatement. Cecilia looked so innocent, so you could never expect her to be capable of the things that she did. And because she had appeared physically one way, she acted that same one way, she talked that same one way. The extreme difference of who she appeared to be versus who she really was made me petrified of every single person on this planet. Because, in all honesty, I mean, most of us, if we see some person that looks dodgy, we immediately think, okay, we should expect certain things from this person because they appear a certain way. Our guard is already up, we're expecting certain things already. We're preparing ourselves. So we're not exactly too surprised if they do something. But when a person appears completely incapable, basically saint-like in so many ways, if not every way, and then to the exact opposite extreme is that bad and that horrific and that capable of so much devastation, there is no possible way you could ever dare think of being able to trust anybody ever again. I had never encountered anybody of that kind of extreme. I'd never encountered anybody who had looked like one extreme and was the exact opposite extreme in reality. I was paralyzed with fear. I mean, I was jumpy even if I accidentally saw my shadow. I did not trust anybody, even the people that I had known all my life. I did not trust people I knew that I could trust. I was paranoid, and there has to be a better word than that because that doesn't describe it. That insane, indescribable paranoia stayed with me for so many years. And eventually, I don't know when, it started to subside. Somewhere along the road it started to subside. But it took a very long time. It took years. And underlying the surface in me, I more than likely am still paranoid. Because I've had this devastating, this extreme experience that's been embedded in me. So subconsciously, I'm probably already prepared, even if I'm not aware of it, but I'm prepared for someone that looks like one extreme to be capable of another extreme. Yet, in the same breath, I'll say that because of the type of person I am, I still honestly don't expect the person to do things like that. Even if they look like they're capable of it, I battle to believe that people do and say things like that. But the paranoia that it left me with, there's no ways I could ever describe it. There were so many questions, and there still are so many questions in my mind still to this day about things Cecilia had told me. She had told me so many things. So I'm not talking about things about her life, but just general supposed facts that she would tell me about a lot of things. I now wonder, if those things are actually true or not. And probably half of those things that she told me are not actually required to, I don't actually really need to know if it's true or not, because it's not valid or not important. But random things still to this day still cross my mind. I still sometimes, not as much as before, but I still do sometimes find myself at least wanting to repeat something Cecilia said to me that she had told me was a fact. And I stopped myself because I remember, hold on, it's more than likely not true. I mean, things that I was told about that happen in the occult. Things, everyday life things. She told me about so many things. And if I didn't already know if they were true or not beforehand, or didn't find out along the way after all these years now, after leaving Cecilia, I still honestly don't know the truth. Some things I've researched, I've asked other people if they know the answer to certain things Cecilia told me about, and then they don't know. That obviously doesn't help. There's still a lot of unanswered questions in my mind about facts, simple facts. Facts in inverted commas, should I say, because I don't know if they're actually true or not. And some are not important and some are important to know, but I suppose as life goes on, I'll end up finding out. But there's so many things that were done and said and covered and affected in those years with Cecilia that I still carry with me today. And probably in ways that I don't even realize until maybe it's pointed out to me. Or until I have a moment where I remember something and I have to stop myself. I'm just glad to say it's not nearly as much as it used to be, but it's still there. It's just amazing how one person can affect you in such a devastating way, with so much confusion and so many lies and so much of so many other things. And it's just amazing what one person can do to a person's life. I mean, there's more than likely things I'm not mentioning right now, but I'll probably mention or remember and mention as I go through the book, because there's just so much to cover. But yeah, I can't even go down to Krugersdorp or drive down certain roads or see certain objects or hear certain music or certain phrases, certain little things, without it making me remember Cecilia. And in the beginning, that was very horrible memories. It was hard. Not so much now, but when I'm caught off guard, it does affect me in ways I don't actually expect it to. Sometimes it rages confusion, sometimes frustration, sometimes just plain indescribable sadness. Sadness because I thought I had this awesome best friend who truly knew me, accepted me for who I was, and so many other things, and it was all a lie. I think that point alone, I still can't wrap my mind around it. I still can't fathom that all that time that I'd spent with her, all those times we talked and laughed, especially the fun moments. Yeah, they were fun moments. I still can't wrap my mind around that all of that was a lie. I still battle with that over a decade later. In all honesty, yes, I'm completely glad it's over. Even if, Cecilia had never actually murdered anybody or done any of the crimes that she had, just on the simple basic facts of having deceived me, betrayed me, and things like that, I'm glad it's over. Even though I know it still hurts, and I can even feel that it hurts right now. But I suppose as time goes on, it'll hurt less and less, and I more than likely will never be able to wrap my mind around the truth, about the supposed friendship being such a lie. But it's probably something I'll have to live with for the rest of my life, and eventually, hopefully, it'll just fade into the background. Up until now, it has. It eventually faded into the background, but every now and then it does come up, and it doesn't affect me at least as much as before, but it still does to a degree. So hopefully over time it'll become less and less.